Hey, it's Christine Christine Rose with ChristineDeco.com. Should put some chapstick on because my bottom lip is sort of dry. But we are trying this again. I tested this out with Anim earlier today. So I just sent her the invitation and hopefully she'll hop on here with me. There she goes. She'll hop on with me and then we'll be able to. Lord, Dana's loud. Okay.
Hey there.
Hey.
I can't get this voice thing going. I tried.
You can't get the what?
The side with the vertical thing
Oh,
going.
I took care of worry about it, but I can't see you.
You can't see me?
No, you see me? Are you on
Yeah,
my
I can see you. No, I'm not. Yeah.
I see you now. Okay, I think it was a late reaction.
Okay.
All
Great.
right.
All right.
So, and of course, right before I went to go live, Dane decided to give me this thing, throw his lunch all over the floor. Get off of the record player. Now he's trying to touch the needle on the record players. I might have to fight him. Say hi.
Hi.
Sorry. This is what happens when you try to go live with someone with a kid in their house.
Yeah, it's understandable.
All right. I'm trying to get him to calm down, but anyhow, okay, Stokely said he can see us both. And hi, Satara. So I'm gonna try to put the camera up high.
Sure.
He's gonna need some boo because that's the only way I can get him to calm down. Hold on one second. Y'all
Do what you gotta do.
Okay. He's on.
Right.
Anyhow.
All right.
So like I was trying to do before, could you introduce yourself to everyone? Because obviously you have a book that you wrote that I just found very interesting and wanted to share with kind of my list.
Sure.
But can you kind of tell us about that, your book?
Absolutely. So my name is Anim Aoa. I'm a clinical social worker here in the Bay Area, California. So I'm on the West Coast, originally from Boston. And currently I work in the pediatrics field. I'm a medical social worker in the pediatrics department. And so I wrote this book kind of based off what I've seen kind of out in the community and out in spaces. So basically my book is called Elijah Was Brave. And basically it's encouraging young boys to kind of be brave and that they can have these conversations about feelings and emotions and be brave that they can talk about it with people such as their families, teachers, people in the schools, things like that. So I just want to encourage those dialogues from early on and encourage the family to be brave to have those difficult conversations from early on. So that's why I called it Elijah Was Brave. And it's primarily focused on Black communities, Black families, because I find that it's still a taboo topic for many Black families. So I just want to encourage, again, to have those conversations early on.
Right, because I often say a lot of times in our community, we're more so pushed to pray about it, to go to church, to bring it
Absolutely.
to God, and not necessarily professional counsel or professional help from another person. You know, they might even say, have your, talk to your pastor, have someone in the church. But in part of me, so I'm like trying to see. There it goes. I was looking for my chapstick because my lips are really dry. I was like, I should have put this on before.
No worries.
And I had Mr. Busybody. Before I was hoping he would stay in his high chair and eat, but he finished up and then he was like, up. But getting back to you, so when exactly is this? You recently wrote this book, correct?
Yeah, I wrote it in about, I think the book came out in February. So I specifically wanted to launch it around Black History Month because, I mean, the dialogues around Black history, Black families, and that celebration. So I strategically released it around February so that, that piece, that mental health piece can be incorporated into the conversations around like Black History Month.
Okay, so I was just a little late finding out about it.
No, I mean, and it's still an ongoing process in trying to getting the word out and getting people to be more aware about this book and like the importance of this book, the relevance of this book. So it's still an ongoing process. It's never too late.
Right. Yeah, I guess I wanted to, like I said, talk to you about it because, um, like for me, my grandmother for years was in social work, and before she retired, ended her career in social as a psychotherapist. So for me and
Mm-hmm.
my family, mental health, talking about it, talking about your feelings, being okay with not being okay sometimes, all of those um, things were sort of normal in
Right.
our family to talk about. Like to see a counselor, to go to counseling also doesn't mean that you have to have always a serious problem. That's another thing.
Correct.
I think because we sometimes, and Stokely, I know you're watching. If you have some comments, write it in a comment, or Sitar, if you guys have questions or comments. I'm trying to not have my head behind your face. Just write it in the comments. But so I know for me, like talking about my feelings, writing. I remember my mom gave me a diary and a journal, and I know she would read it because sometimes she would write me
Yeah.
back. I wrote something, and then I would turn the page, and she wrote me back in response to what I wrote in my diary, which I laugh now. But it was like it
Wow.
was for us a way to communicate without directly communicating face to face, but I could still get out what was frustrating me and what my problems were, what my issues were, and
Yeah.
she always told me as long as I was a child in her house, she had a right to. I didn't have any real privacy, so she had a right to look at my books. I know people have different thoughts
Right.
on that, but yeah, knowing that seeing a counselor doesn't have to be where you you don't have to wait until you have a serious issue or that you're truly feeling symptoms of depression and things like that. But sometimes it's okay just to maintain, just to kind of feed off of. So I know obviously with your profession you can't like give us like examples, but how is it with children in counseling? Like how would a first visit and then ongoing visits go for people who might be interested in
Right.
having their children, you know, go to counseling, and what kind of things or life transitions would be good to maybe even just suggest
Right. Right. You mentioned a lot of great points. I think it's with children, it looks differently depending on what the issue is and also depending on the family dynamics. Because I think the biggest issue sometimes, especially with children, is that the families don't want to accept that something could potentially be bothering the child, hindering the child, something could be wrong. So because of that, they're less likely rather to engage in any sort of services or therapy because they can look at it as, judgmental or, historically Black people have issues with some of the, well-known agencies out there because of things that have happened in the past. And that's understandable. So until the families can kind of have like some sort of basis or knowledge around like, what's going on with the child or,
breathe. You're talking really fast. Hold
oh, I'm sorry.
on.
Yeah, so I think it depends. I think sometimes with children, especially the families, the parents have to be willing to engage and have to accept the fact that something could be potentially bothering the child. I don't like to say anything is wrong because something is wrong. Something could just be an emotional disturbance, a change like moving, a new school, you know, a loss of a family member, things like that can impact the child in different ways, especially different from an adult. So I think things like that, those sort of changes can impact the child. And while the family, processes one way, the child may be processing it a different way and may need additional support. So it looks differently. And especially with the different agencies, that could look different in terms of interventions.
Okay. And how long have you been practicing? Did you always work with children? Did you start um, with another age group, or kind of what's that been for you?
That's how I got introduced to social work and kind of the field and kind of getting a knack for it. And so from there, I went into grad school, and that's when I kind of started my work with children and families. And my focus particularly is health and mental health and kind of finding that integration, finding the middle ground between those two for children and families, particularly women of color, um, and really just trying to help them kind of, again, find the balance between the two.
Sorry, can you still hear me? I had to. My
Yeah, I
son
can
is
still hear
acting
you.
like he's acting like a 2-year-old, and apparently I'm the most
No.
interesting person in the world because everyone keeps texting me and calling me while we're on the screen. So I guess apparently next time I have to just tell people don't call me during a certain time of day. Because I have like swiped away about 10 messages and 2 missed calls. And I'm just like, really, people? So hopefully when we replay this, it's not copied. But yeah, I didn't want to take up too much time. Was there anything that maybe I didn't ask you that you think is just good for people to be mindful of? Or it's something, I guess, counseling something that needs to be ongoing? Can you go and take breaks? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the process looks differently for everyone, and I think there's nothing wrong with going in, taking a break. Oh, the number one thing I want to say is that the first person you meet in terms like of a therapist, if you don't feel like it's a good match, it's totally okay to shop around for a new therapist, a counselor, however you want to refer to that individual as. It's totally okay to, shop around and find someone that you totally connect with. I want to encourage people to do that because oftentimes they have one bad experience and think it's like, and then write it off completely. And I just want to encourage folks to kind of shop around and find someone that you connect with and you feel like, there's a connection there and that you can do good work with.
Right. I think that's like, honestly, it's like that though with a lot of doctors. Sometimes people feel like the first doctor they go to is the person that they have to stay with. And that's honestly not the case. And at any point, in a doctor-patient relationship, you can switch out. You can decide that, it's not a good fit and choose someone else. There's more than one doctor out there. Different people gel with different people. For sure.
Absolutely. And I just want to encourage people to do that. And with families, no work can truly be done with young children without the families being incorporated. And that's another thing I highlight in the book, that families have to work together, especially for young children, to sustain any sort of change.
Definitely. Well, I would go longer, but apparently, being 2 is hard. Dane is like not knowing what to do with himself. Has all my goodies out on Facebook. Get him to calm down. But thank you so much today.
Thank you for having me.
We're doing a part 2 because I know last time. Hold on, let me put this up again. Here, man, just teeny tiny. I know last time we were attempting to do this live and it did not work out due to technical difficulties. But I love your room. That anything on the wall, the whole background is great. So
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
Background. Mine's just the house, and the house is.
Well, you have a beautiful house.
Thank you. I was like with 6 people in it. So more so with him during the day and him tearing up everything. It's sometimes hard to keep it as clean as I would like. So I was like, y'all just gonna get what you get. That was the background. B. And hi, Tammy. But no. Before we get off, can you tell people the name of the book again? And I guess it's just available on your website, correct?
No. So the name of the book again is Elijah Was Brave. Yep. And you can find it on my website, ElijahWasBrave.com, but it's also on thebookpatch.com, which is like a distributor that I've been working with to print the book. So you can get the book directly from there, or you can get it from me on the website, ElijahWasBrave.com.
Okay. Well, awesome. Like I said, thank you so much.
All right.
We'll probably have to do another live together another time, maybe on the weekend or something when my husband's home so he can watch Dane and I can give you my full attention. Trying to slang boobs.
Okay.
Because he's a little wild. But
Sounds
good. So much of it. Definitely our website. And then when we finish this, just put it in the comments, the link, so that people, if they want to come back and just be able to find it, just put the comments in the link. So I'll make sure to share this once it's done. Save the video and share it so you have access to it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye.